Shout out to our first ever members, Mellifluous Prism and Connor Bosley. Join the Crown Club, it's a lot of fun. Is there going to be a new Phantom of the Opera movie? Is Andrew Lloyd Webber going to make an anime? And there's a Christine Daae book coming out? Yeah, there's a lot to discuss. Welcome to the first episode of Regal's Radio Hour, where I talk about whatever I want for that amount of time. Okay, let's get straight into it. There has been so much Phantom news lately. I'm not used to this. We're kind of used to a dry spell over here in this franchise. We haven't had a film adaptation in years. I think the last proper serious one was the 2004 movie. I mean, if you want to count the one animated cameo in Hotel Transylvania, sure. Maybe the flea thing? I can't remember what that was. But basically, we have not had a Phantom of the Opera movie for a very long time. And now we're getting one. And it's a French production as well. And it's actually filmed in the Opera House. Really cool stuff. It's apparently going to come out in September. I know the most basic of basic French, so I'm probably going to try my best to see if I can find a translation out there when it comes out. But yeah, let's take a closer look. We're looking at a $20 million budget for its production, and apparently it's taking a lot of inspiration from the Twilight movies, which is interesting. Mainly it's stated to be aimed at a young adult audience, which kind of makes sense that it's taking cues from Twilight. Something that really heightens my personal interest is the fact that there's a production designer listed who apparently worked on the Marie Antoinette film, and I love the aesthetic of that film. And apparently it is set in the modern day. I know that is kind of controversial for a lot of Phantom fans. Like, if there is an adaptation coming out, I know that most people would prefer it to be set in the past like it is in the book. But I don't know. The thing is, like, some people get so obsessed with things being exactly like the book, and it should be true to the original novel, everything should stay the same. It's like that one meme of Luke Skywalker, like, the sacred text. Like, people get so obsessed over things being biblically accurate. Here's the thing, every adaptation of something has to do something new to make it fresh for the next generation. So I would encourage you to have an open mind about this. The fact that we haven't had a Phantom movie in so long, just please give it a chance. Like, keep an open mind. Even if you don't like it when it does come out, just, be happy. We're having a Phantom movie. It's exciting, it's good, and it's keeping it alive, It's not letting the text go to dust. You can appreciate your favourite adaptation as much as you want. No one's going to take it away from you. Let's try and keep an open mind to new things. It's important. I can't comment on any of the actors involved because I know literally nothing about them. But what it seems to be about, really, like the general plot, is that the Christine character, who is called Anastasia, will be, she'll be entering the prestigious French Royal Ballet at the Opera House. And from there she meets a mysterious pianist as she attempts to perform in a cursed opera. The director says the film will mix themes and genres to create an ambitious romantic film set against the backdrop of Paris, with fantasy, period, and thriller elements. I like the sound of that. There's also something here about the opera director in the plot reviving Orpheus, the mythic opera inspired by the Greek mythological figure of Orpheus and his journey into the underworld in search of his dead wife Eurydice. That's a really good shout. I know that some people be like, oh, why not Faust? This isn't too far off in so many ways, and it is still that link of, the Phantom being connected to the underworld and the obsession with a beautiful woman and life versus death. light versus dark. It still keeps with the themes of the story. One thing that I've always really loved about the 2004 movie is the way that they uses the jumps in time. The musical didn't really touch on the first scene, like we see Rao at the auction and then we never see that scene again because we go straight back into the past. But the 2004 movie goes back and forth, and I really like that. So it would be really cool if this particular movie did lots of time jumps as well. Like maybe we have a modern day Christine and then suddenly she's transformed to go back in the past. Maybe a bit like the Robert Englund version, but a bit more consistent. I've always liked the idea of a modern Christine going to the opera house and then she falls back in time to who she was back in the 1880s. So if this movie does that, I would be really, really intrigued and impressed. If you were to ask me personally what my dream idea of a Phantom film adaptation would look like, I feel like Guillermo del Toro would be a really interesting director to have. I really enjoyed Frankenstein. Like, that kind of vibe would be fascinating and perfect for a Phantom of the Opera movie. And here's the thing, I know it's never gonna happen, but there's a part of me that really wants to see Oscar Isaac as a Phantom. Don't come for me. I like Oscar Isaac. What's a girl gonna do? Like, he was a really great Frankenstein, and I do want to see him in a Victorian shirt again, so leave me alone. I think he has the depth to pull it off. The director of this 2026 film has said that he is taking cues from Del Toro's fictional universes, but also, fascinatingly, Studio Ghibli as well. And finally, most fascinating of all, there is a mention of him being interested in the Phantom of the Paradise as well, which is the weirdest. I never get over how niche Phantom of the Paradise is. It was like an insanely influential film over so much sci-fi, cyberpunk stuff. Like, it's such a weirdly influential film in film history, but nobody outside of Phantom obsessives like you and me, or, other film history, would actually know about it. Nobody knows about the Phantom of the Paradise. So it's really kind of cool to see it mentioned in this article here that I'm reading for you. I did actually start watching The Phantom of the Paradise last year for the first time, and I was blown away by how ahead of its time it was. I would definitely love to talk more about it on my channel at some point when I finish the entire movie. But yeah, next chapter. There's also been discussions of Andrew Lloyd Webber bringing a Phantom of the Opera movie, like the musical, into movie format, kind of like Wicked. That would be really, really cool, and I'm more than down for that. Some people might argue that it's, still a bit too soon for a new movie version of the musical. We've already had this happen with the 2004 movie ages ago, but with new CGI, it could be even bigger and more grand than the 2004 movie. But this is still a hypothetical at the minute. We don't know if this is something that's going to happen, whereas the 26 movie will be out in September. This one is sort of a big question mark. It may happen, it may not. It could still be considered too soon. The only thing I would say is I question people being like, oh, Jonathan Bailey as the Phantom. I don't know about that. I mean, I could see him being a fantastic Rao. That's just me personally. I can't really see him being the Phantom. Don't get me wrong, he is a fantastic actor. And I don't doubt he has range as well. He is fantastic. He was definitely really broody and moody as Anthony in Bridgerton. But yeah, just me personally, I can't really picture him as the Phantom. If he does get cast as Eric and he pulls it off, then, just take the words right out of my mouth. I'm no expert, but yeah, just for me personally, I don't really vibe with it. The most consistent critique you'll always hear is that Gerard Butler could not sing, and it is obviously supposed to be a project about this incredible singer that teaches somebody else to sing. Kind of a big part of the character. I think back then people were more interested in looks and acting performance. You know, the singing ability was kind of not really prioritized back then, but nowadays it is a priority. I think musical movies have taken into account that audiences won't be happy if you cast a star that doesn't have the singing quality. I think quite a lot of actors back in the early 2000s were scared to be portrayed as ugly in any capacity, maybe. That's one theory I have. But that's changed now. We see in Frankenstein, Jacob Elordi, I was really surprised at the level in which an actor, like him, that's kind of known for being this good-looking, broody guy, he was willing to take the steps and make himself into a creature for the creature. He did that work, he did the makeup, he did that performance, he became the Frankenstein's monster. So I don't think people are afraid of that anymore. I don't think we'll have to worry too much about that. But it's because here's the thing, when these big studios cast these actors, they still need somebody with the star power to get people into seats, which is why it makes sense to me that Jonathan Bailey has come up. He is huge at the minute, he is everywhere. He does have that training, he can sing, he can dance. So who would be the ideal person to be Eric? I don't fully have an answer for that, and I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. Who do you think would be the perfect Eric? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, and also let's not forget the anime thing. I'm somebody that really enjoys Japanese culture, and I enjoy anime quite a lot. So the idea of a Phantom of the Opera anime, two things that I really love being put together, is exciting. It did make me raise my eyebrows a little bit, I have to say, because you don't really think of anime and Andrew Lloyd Webber going together in the same sentence. But his company, Really Useful Group, has signed up together with Quebec Pictures' Justin Leach, and this guy worked on Star Wars and Leviathan. So it's a combination of the musical with Japanese animation. My main question is, what particular anime art style are they going to use? Because there are so many different styles to choose from across the whole history of anime. I would be very curious to see what kind of aesthetic we're going to have, what it's going to ultimately look like. As long as they don't obviously use any AI and, stick to traditional means of animation. I guess we'll have to watch this space though, because it is a very mysterious project. We don't really know much else about it. And finally, let's talk about the Christine Daae book called Our Strange Duet. Most of the Phantom related books that have come out that you could probably find once you search on Amazon or something and you've got past the first few pages of Gaston Leroux's original book, you'll find a lot of self-published works, people reimagining the text in their own ways, lots and lots of self-published fan kind of projects. There's been obviously a few small indie published books, quite a few of them are erotica, but this is a book from Christine's point of view from the world of the musical. I am very, very intrigued about this because I think it's been long overdue that Christine has a kind of book written from her own perspective. I can think of maybe 2 or 3 other books that have been self-published by fans that have tried to do this, but this one is much more serious and on a much bigger scale because it is being published by one of the big companies. Penguin Random House here in the UK. Like, that is a big deal, and it shows that this is being taken very, very seriously. I think the goal of this book is to present Christine's point of view without her being overshadowed by the Phantom, and to give her more agency. I really want to feel her thoughts. I've often thought about writing my own Christine Daae book, or, making an ASMR kind of version of her diary, like what Christine would write in her diary in an ASMR audio drama kind of format here on my channel. I really want to feel like her as a character, and I want her to feel strong, if that makes sense. Perhaps that sounds a little bit redundant, but so many film adaptations, unfortunately, kind of fall prey to making Christine just a damsel in distress. But I do have hope. This is being written from a female author. The author is Erin A. Craig, and she wrote the House of Salt and Sorrows series. I have never heard of any of her books, but I would be very interested to see what she comes up with, what she creates from this existing world. I think out of all the projects I've mentioned here in this podcast today, this is the one that I've got the highest expectations for. Because the other stuff is kind of more mysterious, and I'm a bit more open-minded to it. I want to see new things, I want to see experimentation, but I will be very... It's really important to me that Christine as a character is done right, or at least she is given agency. Feminism is important to me, and that, I think that goes without saying, but I don't want to feel like she's a flat character. She means so much to me, and I'm sure she means so much to you guys as well. I want her to be taken seriously, and I want the book to feel like it's taking her seriously, I want to see a complicated, well-crafted, highly detailed book of her world, her innermost thoughts. That's what I want. And honestly, teenage me would have been so hungry for this book right in the peak of my obsession when I first started to get into Phantom. And when this book comes out, you can fully expect me to grab it, probably pre-order it as soon as I can, and I will be doing a book review of it. Like, absolutely nothing is going to stop me from reading this book and telling you all my thoughts. The book, the anime, the possible potential new movie musical adaptation, these are all... Oh, and Masquerade as well. Almost forgot about Masquerade. I'm so jealous of anyone that's got to see that. But yeah, all of these projects are a concentrated effort to have like a big Android Web of Phantom of the Opera movement at the minute globally, sort of resurging the brand, which I'm not complaining about. So yeah, I think that's everything that we've got time for. Here's to more Phantom projects in the future. We're having an entire renaissance at the minute. Thank you so much for joining me for this very first episode of Regal's Radio Hour. If you like my voice, please subscribe, maybe like if you want. Helps other people find my videos. Thanks for stopping by. Leave a comment for what you want to see me talk about next, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye.